What happens when one of the world's fastest sprinters dares to tackle the most challenging race in track and field? Letsile Tebogo is risking it all as he sets his sights on 400-metre glory, a move that could immortalise him in the history books. Is this the moment he conquers the impossible? In the heat of 2017, a distinct sprinter from South Africa achieved a notable sort of record in the world of sprinting, one many felt was beyond reach. Across the 100 metres, 200 metres, 300 metres and 400 metres, Wade van Niekerk managed to surpass 4 exceptionally tough marks, all within a few short weeks. In the 100 metres, he posted a 9.94, cracking 10 seconds while making it appear effortless. In the 200 metres, he clocked a fresh personal best of 19.84, then proceeded to capture another 400 metres triumph. During this period, he became the lone individual ever to run sub-10 in the 100 metres, sub-20 in the 200 metres and sub-44 in the 400 metres. On top of that, he also toppled the 300-metre world record, an event not often raced, yet he still dethroned Michael Johnson's long-standing mark from 2000. For an extended duration, Van Niekerk remained the only athlete to achieve these barriers, solidifying himself as the ultimate example of all-around sprinting prowess. Armed with achievements like these, including 2 global records, his total domination led many to conclude nobody would match his complete skill set. Then, in 2024, a new figure arrived and totally revised the sprinting annals. His name, Letsile Tebogo from Botswana, who in his opening race of 2024 shattered Van Niekerk's 300-metre world record at the Kura Podium final held in Pretoria, South Africa. Tebogo showcased his global calibre in that 300-metre contest, exploding out of the blocks efficiently, quickly creating space between himself and the other runners, and then, over the final 100 metres, extending his lead even more, venturing into previously uncharted territory. He earned a monstrous global best of 30.69 seconds. What rendered this record so compelling was that in his closing 100 metres, he didn't merely outrun all who came before, he outpaced them significantly. Here's a breakdown of 100-metre segments set by major sprint icons in their 300-metre attempts. Usain Bolt had an incredibly swift first 200 metres, hitting 20.00 seconds, but faded somewhat in his final 100 metres, covering it in 10.97. Michael Johnson, meanwhile, ripped through his second 100 metres extremely fast, even outdoing Bolt there. But again, his last 100 metres was less impressive. As for Van Niekerk, he too launched with a powerful opening 200, followed by a closing 100 metres that seemed just slightly below his fullest potential. All 3 efforts looked amazing, but something appeared lacking in their home stretch. This is precisely where Letsile Tebogo stepped in, because after a rapid initial 200 metres, he went on to finalise his last 100 metres in 10.40, distinctly quicker than any of those previous masters. This show of formidable sprint endurance was somewhat unexpected, primarily since over the past few years he'd been perceived mostly as a 100-metre, 200-metre specialist. In fact, he had taken the 100-metre World Junior record down multiple times, lowering it as far as 9.91. However, that 300-metre record truly opened new paths for Tebogo, which leads us into 2025. Not long ago, he formally disclosed his first competition date for this season, and intriguingly, it's not the 100 metres, 200 metres, or even the 300 metres, like last year. Instead, it's the 400 metres, set for March 29th, 2025 at the Marie Plant meeting in Melbourne. This marks his inaugural run on Australian soil, and given his recent triumphs, including Olympic success, there's already buzz about the extraordinary promise he could show over this one-lap race. Some are even floating the possibility of a world record. We should temper our hopes, of course, given it's only his season debut. Also, the record stands at 43.03. However, Tebogo achieved great renown at the Paris Olympics, registering a mind-blowing 43.4 in the final. That 43rd.4 relay leg alone has set tongues wagging about his potential. Despite having minimal reps in the 400 metres, his prowess was clear from the 300 metres performance. But there's still one extra factor to consider when sizing up Tebogo. Prior to that 400-metre relay anchor, he had already competed in 7 events during the Paris Games. By any standard, that's a lot. 3 times in the 100 metres, where he claimed a new national benchmark in the finale. 3 times in the 200 metres, where he notched an African record and took gold, and also ran the 4x400 metre relay opening leg in the qualifiers. No one could have expected anything close to that 43.4 after so much racing. Yet he pulled it off, reinforcing his impressive potential. It's one thing to achieve a breakthrough under ideal circumstances or after extensive specialisation. It's another to do so at the age of 21, following 7 consecutive events. This places Tebogo in an elite category of sprinters who may accomplish incredible feats in the near future. If we look back at Van Niekerk's 400-metre world record, he passed the 300-metre mark in 31.00, then produced a 12.03 for the concluding 100 metres. That race sits in the record books as a hallmark in 400-metre history, representing a hefty 1,321 points on the World Athletics scoring charts. A towering figure indeed. But akin to that old 300-metre best, people speculate that the last 100 metres might be the linchpin in toppling Van Niekerk's record. If we rewind to 1999's Worlds, Michael Johnson laid down the prior record of 43.18, splitting 31.66 through 300 metres, over half a second off Van Niekerk's pace. Yet he completed his own final 100 metres more than half a second faster than Van Niekerk, clocking 11.52. If Tebogo manages around 31.50 at the 300-metre mark, well within his capability given his 300-metre record, he'd just need to close in around 11.52 as well. This is obviously much simpler to say than to accomplish, and it necessitates a flawlessly executed race in the 400 metres. Still, it appears at least feasible when we consider his performances across 100 metres, 200 metres, 300 metres and 400 metres. Tebogo has maintained a steady improvement track these last few seasons, prompting many to wonder which event will eventually become his specialty. Will he concentrate more on the 200 metres following that Olympic title? Will he step back down to the 100 metres? Or perhaps extend himself to the 400 metres for a real challenge? A lot of observers think that after his first 2025 meet in Melbourne, we'll gain a clearer picture of his trajectory. Now I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Which path do you believe Tebogo will pick? And how quickly can he complete this 400 metres? Let me know in the comments. And as usual, thanks for watching. Until next time.